Hey everybody, it's Teresa. Welcome to my channel. I'm going to make a bracelet today, and I'm going to use some of the products I got from Beebeecraft. In case you're not familiar, Beebeecraft is an online craft supply store. They have lots of beads and bindings and jewelry making supplies. If you have a channel and you have at least 100 subscribers, you can apply to be in their YouTube program and get products and do tutorials for them. I'll post a link in the description box below so you can check that program out if you're interested. They offer free shipping for orders over $25. Their website says the free shipping is not only for customers in the United States, but also other countries. I have a coupon code. It's Teresa10, and I'll put it on the screen here and in the description box below. It'll save you 10% off your order if you make an order with them. I'll put links to all the Beebeecraft products I'm using in the description box below, along with links to the other tools and supplies I'm using, as many as I can find. And I'll also link the Beebeecraft homepage in the description box below. I'm using these little 3.5 by 3 millimeter rondelles I got. It was not this last order, and I don't think it was the order before. It might have been the order before that. I'm not sure, but I'll find the link to them and put them in the description box below. And I'm using my Miyuki 11.0 galvanized silver seed beads. I've got a little magnetic clasp here. I think this is probably about an 8 millimeter. I've got a lot of these, or several of these little ones that I hardly ever use them because I hardly ever make a little tiny bracelet. But this is kind of going to be a little tiny bracelet, so I thought it would work well with it. I've got a couple of wire guards and a couple of jump rings, and the jump rings are some that I got in my last order from Beebeecraft. This is a box of several mixed different sizes of platinum colored jump rings. And when I unboxed this, I said I thought it was probably 4 millimeter, 5 millimeter, 6 millimeter, 8 millimeter, and 10 millimeter, because it said that the sizes ranged from 4 millimeter to 10 millimeter. And I thought maybe there were a couple of the sections that had 10 millimeter, or maybe a couple of sections that had 8 millimeter. But I had a lady that watched that video comment, and she said she had got a box of these, and it's 4 millimeter, 5 millimeter, 6 millimeter, 7 millimeter, 8 millimeter, and 10 millimeter, which makes much more sense than what I thought, what I said. So I appreciate her telling me that. I've got a couple of size 11 tulip beading needles here. I'm only going to be using one, but I always have an extra one in case I need to add. Right, sometimes I use it when I'm adding thread, and sometimes I just need an extra one in case I lose one. And I think sometimes you all probably wonder what I'm talking about when I say I'm only going to use one needle. You probably think, well, of course she's only going to use one needle, but there's a lot of these bead weaving stitches that some people use two needles. Like what right angle weave is one that a lot of people find it much easier to use two needles. I am not one of those people. I cannot use two needles. I do well to manage one needle, so you won't ever see me using two needles at a time. I've got my Fireline, 8-pound Fireline in smoke, and I'm going to be using my new little scissors I got from Beebeecraft in this last order I made with them. And I've got my chain nose pliers and my bent chain nose pliers. I got these bent chain nose pliers from Beebeecraft many years ago, and I use the chain nose pliers to flatten my thread just so I can get it through the needle, and I'll be using both of them when I put my clasp on at the end. I think that's everything as far as supplies and stuff. So hold on, I'll get some of my beads poured out and I'll be back. Okay, I've got my beads poured out here, and I've got some over here to the side that I'm going to be using so that I don't have to reach across the screen in front of y'all all the time. I've got my needle threaded. I'm leaving probably about an 8-inch tail to sew my clasp on later. It won't take much, it probably won't even take 8 inches, but I'm leaving about an 8-inch tail. This is going to be double right angle weave, and I know if you've never done right angle weave, that might sound hard, but it really is not hard. I'm going to be picking up 4 of my little silver 11-0s here. This first box will be just a little bit different than the rest of them, but not much. So I've got 4 of my 11-0s on there. I'm just going to go through the first one. So I've got my little right angle weave box there. Now I'm just going to pick up an 11-0 and put it between all the 11 O's I've already got on here. So I've started with 4, and I'm going to add 4 to go in the little spaces between the 4 I already had on here. Just make sure they pop in between the ones that are already on there. And that's my last one. I'm going to go on up through that tip. And that that makes a little diamond there. And that's a double right angle weave unit. Now I'm going to sew around until I'm coming out this bead. See, where's my thread coming out? It's coming out down here. I'm going to sew up through this next couple of 11 O's so I can be coming out the tip of my diamond here. And that's what I've got there. I've got a little diamond. Now I'm going to pick up one of my colors. I'm going to mix all these colors up just like they were mixed up on the strand. So I'm going to pick up, I mean, not just like they were mixed up on the strand, but I'm going to mix them all up. So I'm going to pick up 4 of one color, doesn't matter what it is. So I'm going to pick up 4 of these dark blue ones here. That's what I've got there. Now I'm coming out the top of this silver 11 I'm going to go in the bottom. And now I'm going to go through the first of the 4 beads that I picked up. And now I'm going to pick up an 11 silver 11 and go between all the beads. And in the first unit, I picked up 4 beads, and then I filled in 4 beads. So I picked up a total of 8 beads. In this one, I will only be picking up 3 of my silver 11 because I've already got one, the one that I started my unit with. So that's why the rest of these are different from the first one. In the first one, we picked up a total of 8 beads. In this one, we're just picking up a total of 7 beads because we're sharing this one little silver 11. So that's my next little double right angle weave unit. I know it doesn't look like as much of a diamond as that little one with the 11 O's. So now I'm just going to sew around over here until I'm coming out this one on the end so I can make my next unit. And I'm going to make another unit of the 11 O's. So I'm going to pick up 4 of my 11 O's. I'm coming out the top. I'm going to go on the bottom. And go through the first one. Always go through the first one before you start adding your beads. And now I'm going to add an 11 between the 11 O's. So, and I'm going to be picking up a total of 7. So that was 4. This is 5. This is 6. And this is 7. And now I'm going to go back through that silver 11 I started in that's connected to my previous unit. And that makes my little diamond shape there. Now I'm going to sew around till I'm coming out the one on the tip here. Now I'm going to pick another one of my colors. I think I'll pick my yellow here. I'm going to pick up 4 yellow. Now I'm going to come out the top of that silver 11. Now I'm going to go in the bottom. Now I'm going to flip it over and go through the first bead. Now I'm going to pick up a silver 11 and put it between the beads. When I get that last silver 11 in, I'm going to go through the bead and back through the silver 11 that I started in. Now I'm going to sew around till I get to this end over here. Now I'm going to make another unit of just my seed beads. So I'm going to pick up 4 of my 11 O's. Coming out the top of this 11 I'm going to go in the bottom. I'm going to go through the first bead. And now I'm going to pick up a silver 11 and put it between all the silver 11 O's. And then when I get around here to this last one, I'm going to put my bead in, and then I'm going to go back through the silver 11 that I started in. Make my little diamond shape there. I'm going to sew over here to this one on the tip here. Now I'm going to do another color. I'm going to do purple next. I'm going to pick up my purple, 4 of my purple. Coming out the top of my 11 I'm going to go in the bottom. Go back through the first bead. I'm going to pick up an 11 and put it between all the beads. When I get around here to the last one, I'm going to go through my bead and back through the 11 I started in. Just make sure those beads pop in between the other beads there. And now I'm going to sew around until I get to the tip. Now I'm going to make another unit of just my 11-ohs, and I'm just going to keep doing that. I'm going to alternate my colors till I use all my colors, and of course start over again because I won't have a long enough bracelet for the colors that are in here. And then I'm just going to do that till I get to the length that I want, and then I'll be back and we'll put the wire guardian on. Okay, I've got my length here that I want, so now I'm going to put my wire guardian on. And this is just really simple. I'm just going to sew it straight on here. I'm going to squish it in a little bit first before I sew it on. Now I'm coming off this tip here. The tip of my last little unit of 11-ohs. I'm just going to pick up my wire guardian, go through one of the channels. Go down the other channel. Now pinch my wire guardian so the thread will come down in the channel there. And now I'm going to go in the other side of that 11-oh that I'm coming out of. And then I'm going to go back up the wire guardian. Back down the other channel of the wire guardian. Hold my finger over it there so it'll go down in the channel. Go back through the other side of the 11-oh. Go back up the wire guardian. Back down through the other channel of the wire guardian. Hold my finger over it so the thread will go in the channel. Go in the other side of the 11-oh. I'll squish my little wire guardian in some more. And I got a little wire guardian on now. I'm just going to sew down through her and tie a few 1/2-inch knots. End off my thread. Just going to go under a thread bridge here. Go back through my loop. Bring my thread down slowly. Go through another couple beads. And I did not have to add thread to this. I had enough, but if you did have to add thread, this is how I would do it. I would just stand off my thread like this and then add in a new thread like I do on pretty much everything. I'm going to go under this thread bridge, go through my loop, put my thread down slowly, go through a couple more beads. Go under the thread bridge here. Go through my loop, pull the thread down slowly, and I'll go through another few beads, and then I'm going to cut off my thread. Now I'm going to go over here to this other end where I left. I'm going to take my stop bead off. I'm going to sew my wire guardian in just like I did on the other side, and then I'll come back and we'll put the clasp on. Okay, I've got both my wire guardians sewed on now. Now I'm just going to put my clasp on. Just going to open my jump ring here. Put my clasp on. Take my other jump ring. Pretty happy with these jump rings, y'all. They're nice and thick. So there we go. There's my little bracelet. Hold on, let me get some of my stuff cleaned up here and I'll be back. Okay, there's my little double right angle weave bracelet. It's really not hard to do. You don't have to use 3.5 by 3 millimeter rondelles. You could use 2 by 3 or 3 by 4, 4 by 6. You don't have to use rondelles. You could use rounds or drugs, fire polish beads, 3 millimeter, 4 millimeter, 6 millimeter. You could use 8/0s in place of the 11/0s. You could switch up the way you configure the units. You could do a few units of the 11/0s and then a few units of the rondelles and then a few units of bicones, or just whatever you want to do. The sky's pretty much the limit. So I hope y'all have enjoyed this video. As always, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate those of you who have subscribed to my channel and watched my videos and liked and commented on my videos. I have a website where I sell my jewelry. It's Teresa's Handmade Jewelry, and I put a link to it in the description box below in case you're interested, along with a link to my Facebook and Instagram and my email. If you haven't, I'd really love it if you'd subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're notified when I upload a new video. So until next time, hope y'all have a great day. Take care.